JoJo's Bizarre Adventures came out in 2012. Well, at least the anime did. The manga came out in the 80s. And since it came out so long ago and the anime is still ongoing, we currently have had a hiatus between each part just so every part would be highly adapted and animated. That's fair. But that also comes to a point where today I want to ask the question, when are we getting part 8 and part 9? Because since part 5 has just recently been announced, I thought it would be cool to try to piece together the timeline we will be getting. Now, all of this is speculation based off of the fact that part 7 comes out sometime during 2026 and it finishes production by late 2027, maybe early 2028 at the latest. If Steel Ball Run is finished by 2028, we would then have another 2 to 3, maybe 4, no, 2 to 3 year hiatus until we get to part 8. Now, again, I am being generous mostly because with part 7, it might air earlier than mid to late 2026, honestly, only because the manga is coming out now. The English version of the manga is coming out now. It's kind of, I feel like the English version of the manga is a little ahead of schedule, you know, compared to part 6 the last time around. Because I don't think the manga came out until maybe a month or 2 before the series actually started airing. With Steel Ball Run, I know it's probably going to be upwards to probably 5-6 months before we actually see an airing, let alone a trailer. But we do have some news about that, which I will mention in a little bit. But if we're assuming that come sometime this summer we get the trailer, it announces the official time, and the official time ends up being end of 2025, early 2026, we can move the date up a little bit more, probably to like 2027, mid 2027 will probably be where they end Steel Ball Run, or all the way through late 2027, early 2028, because I can see Steel Ball Run going for a really long time, because up until this point Steel Ball Run will be the longest paneled part. It will be the part with the most pages. It will be the part which will probably take the most effort to animate too, because they're doing horses. Steel Ball Run takes place all on horses. So we're now 2028, early 2028. This is a really good scenario I'm mentioning right now, because I feel like early 2028 I wouldn't have a problem with it ending right then, maybe just a little bit earlier, because again, Stone Ocean, it only went for like a year and a half. It aired technically for a year and a half, you know, through all the breaks they were giving us, the 9-month breaks as we were chilling, you know. But I do feel like part 7 will just take longer, you know. It's less chapters, I will give you that, yes, but each of these chapters are like triple the size of what the shonen chapters were. Now granted, the first 20 chapters shouldn't take that long. They were Shonen Jump, those chapters were like 20-25 pages, you know, shouldn't take that long. It should just be regular paced. But chapters from 21 on all the way through 95, those chapters are the ones that have the 50-40 pages within them, and will probably take a little bit longer just to animate, because if you do what they currently do, which there's nothing wrong with what they currently do, they just miss little things, you know, and those little things with a larger part is going to turn into bigger things, which is why I feel like it will just take them longer. I feel like it'll probably take them around 50 episodes. But yeah, let's say 2028. From 2028, I would say till about 2030, mid 2030, probably either mid 2030 or early 2031 is when we'll probably get that part 8 announcement, bro, which really should say something, because come early 2031 the show will be airing for 19 years, you know. Part 9 will still be going on. We'll be 8 years into part 9, you know, and it'll still probably have a few more years left. It'll still probably only be like 70-80 chapters in, but we're still, with part 8 coming out, we're still going to be waiting, because even after the announcement comes out, we'll probably have to wait a few months before we get the trailer and stuff. Then with part 8, part 8's even longer than part 7. So while I said part 7 was 50 chapters, part 8 might be 50 and a little bit more, so like 52. But then again, who can complain about more JoJo's? You know what I mean? I'm sure, certainly not. I enjoyed both part 7 and part 8, the manga for both, so I'll be there for the anime no matter what. I'm just saying it's going to take a little bit longer than the other parts, simply because each chapter in these seinen mangas that Araki is currently writing, even with part 9, 50 pages, close to it. It's a lot of pages, bro. You're getting a lot of pages. But let's say part 8 comes out 2030, mid 2031, mid to late 2031, right? 3 years or 2 to 3 years past. It's 2033. I would say mid to late 2033 will probably be when part 8 finishes. So it'll probably be another 2. It'll probably take the longest out of all of them, 2.5 years for them to make all the episodes and everything before they're finished. So with this timeline, right, with these 2 parts, it will probably take us around 8 years till we get to part 9. From this point on, from mid 2025, it'll probably take us about 8 years till we even start talking about part 9. Because even then, now you have another hiatus, and this is another 2-year hiatus that we're gonna have to wait. And I feel like this one will probably be shorter because, well, we don't know what entails in part 9, but so far, you know, we're just in Hawaii. It's modern era. It's pretty cool. And by about 2035, part 9 should be done. You know, it should, because by then part 9 would be 12 years in. We would have to be way over the 100 chapter mark, probably like 115, 120 in. It would make it the longest part, you know, all of that. This is 2035. That's when, so a decade is basically when I think we'll actually get part 9 animated, which some people look at me like, it'll be a little bit sooner than that, which is fair. I could see it being 2033, but I don't see it being any sooner than the 2030s. And of course, with part 9, I can't predict how long or how short it will go and how many episodes it will get. But I do know by the time production does start, or just getting ready to start, or at least it's moving, it will be close to mid 2030s. Like, and that's just going off the way it's been now, and taking account into the fact that from now on they're adapting so many pages in each chapter. It's going to take them a while longer. But really, that's all I got for y'all. If y'all enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. You know, we're on the road to 5K, so anything helps. And until next time, peace.